Hey there guys, what's going on? Sai here and welcome back to the Boys RC channel, episode 6 of our project build of the HG P407 or the Tamiya Bruiser clone. Now then, in today's episode we are going to be looking at the shock absorbers for the Tamiya Bruiser or the HG P407. I have already installed the new hardware to the chassis, so as you can see on the front suspension setup, what we have is some internal droop shocks. There's currently no oil in there, but we can add some oil. There's a two-hole piston setup in there at the moment with the softest spring, 90mm length shock absorbers you can pick up on AliExpress, and I have to say, for the price, they are very good quality. The rebound is really nice and smooth as well, the action. And yeah, just wish there was a little bit more spring options as well on there, because the medium ones are really hard and the soft ones are pretty hard as well. So I may have to change them. Now I do have some ideas as well for the setup and how I'm going to run it. Potentially maybe no spring in there at the moment, maybe just oil, or maybe even remove the shock, the spring leaves system as well, and just run with that shock absorber. So I'm going to do some trial and error testing as well. I'm going to put some different weight of oil as well at the front and the back, just to test which works best. Obviously I'm not expecting great things from this particular build or chassis, but I do want to make it a little bit more capable than it already is. Now, the original shock absorbers for the HG P407 were these. So you can see there are it's an oil-based system with a spring on top as well with the shaft. They are not the best things in the world. I'm not sure if you can see that, but these run really rough as they enter the shaft. I'm trying to be as smooth as possible with my finger, and you can see just how bad that system really looks and feels. It's really rough. The shaft is all scratched up as well. I'm not sure if you can see that, but it's not the best system in the world, and also it does leak. So mine in the box have no oil whatsoever, so it's always best to get them either put in a bin or just have as a spare parts lot. Now you can make these work by polishing the shaft with some wire wool and maybe some Brasso as well, which will increase that shaft motion. And also, to stop it leaking, add another oil ring as well to the end bit here, and that should be absolutely fine. But they are quite small compared to these that we replaced them with. You can see they're almost a little bit of a smaller scale shock. Now for the new hardware, so I've picked these up, these shock mounts, upper shock mounts from eBay, relatively cheap. I will put them in the description for you as well. So what these allow is basically to mount the shock mounts at an angle, which increases the flexibility and reduces stress all over the chassis as well, which is really cool. And for the shock absorbers, these are the Endura 90mm length internal shock absorbers. You can set them up for droop as well. They do have nice and smooth action, and the springs that are pre-installed are the medium spring rates. These on the side here are the softer spring rates, so I do recommend going for the softer option because these are quite hard, to be honest with you. Comes with a nice little bag of spares, bits and pieces as well. And what you're going to need as well to complete this is a hex nut and screw assortment. Right, so now we're going to take a closer look at the shock absorbers. So I'm just going to open up the packet. You can see nice little logo on there, only on one side, which is absolutely fine. Nice little anodized reading as well on there, and you can see just how smooth that shaft looks. There's hardly any imperfections on there. So for a bang for buck, these shock absorbers are actually quite pretty good. But I'll do some more testing on them and see if they do leak at all or anything like that. So look at the action as well. You can see just how nice and smooth that is. Although the spring in here is quite stiff. Take them apart. Just undo the little bit at the bottom, the red anodizing, and pop it open. So you can see the piston here is a 2-hole piston, so fluid can go through it quite nicely. You can see got a nice O-ring here, and then a ring here as well, so to stop it from leaking. That's the spring as well on this. You can see this is quite a hard spring rate, and these are 90mm from eyelid to eyelid. Moving on to the upper shock mounts. So you get a pack of 4 of these, and that allows you to mount the shock absorbers at an angle, which is absolutely great. Gives it more flexibility and reduces stress as well on the chassis and the mounts as well, so absolutely recommend it. Now we're going to be putting the new hardware on. So we're going to start off with the upper shock mount on here. So, and we're going to place that like so. Okay, so both mounts are now done and in place, nice and secure. Literally no movement whatsoever. Now it's time to mount the shock absorbers. So before we mount it, we're going to change the springs, because the springs in these are quite tough. They're quite stiff. As you can see, it takes quite a lot of force to compress that spring in there. So to undo that, take the bottom part off. There we go. Reveals the 2-hole piston and the spring as well. So chuck that to the side, grab your soft spring, put it on top and close it down. That is a lot better, a lot smoother. And then into here, there should be a nut at the end of there to hold it all down together. Now, I'm not using thread lock on this just yet because I am going to be playing around with the suspension setup just to make sure I get it set up correctly. And then this is, I believe, a 12mm into the eyelid, second hole down like so, and just tighten that up. Now once again, repeat on the other side. And that is the rear shock assembly done. And just look how smooth that is. And the flex as well. So much better than the original setup. But we are not complete there. We are going to be doing different combinations: spring, no oil, oil, no spring, leaf, leaf gone. Let me know your suspension setup down in the comments below, and I'll catch you guys in the next episode where we'll have a look at the tyres. Take care and peace out.